The invitation lay unopened on her kitchen counter for 3 days. The elegant white envelope, sealed with a gold heart, mocked her every time she walked past it. "You are cordially invited to the wedding of Ethan Blake and Caroline Moore." Just reading those names made her stomach twist into knots. Caroline exhaled shakily, pressing a hand against her chest as if she could slow the pounding inside. Ethan, her ex-fiancé, the man who once promised forever, was marrying someone else. And not just someone else, her former best friend. She had told herself she was over it, that time had dulled the ache. But when the invitation arrived, everything came rushing back. The betrayal, the sleepless nights, the hollow mornings where coffee couldn't wash away the bitterness. Yet beneath all that pain, there was pride, a stubborn whisper that told her she would not be the woman who hid away. If Ethan could move on, so could she. That was how the idea began, to go to the wedding. But she couldn't go alone. She needed someone by her side, someone who could help her hold her head high in front of the people who once pitied her. And that's when her path crossed with him. Before we dive deeper into this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Let's keep spreading real healing stories together. His name was Noah Reed. 34, quiet, and deeply gentle in ways that didn't announce themselves. He lived across the street, raising his 6-year-old daughter Ava, alone after losing his wife in a car accident 3 years ago. Caroline had seen him around, the way he knelt beside Ava tying her shoelaces before school, or how he'd smile at her with wary eyes when they bumped into each other at the grocery store. One afternoon, as Caroline sat on her porch lost in thought, Noah waved. There was something grounding about him. A man who carried pain but didn't let it harden him. Maybe it was impulsive, or maybe it was fate, but before she could overthink it, she blurted, "No, can I ask you something a little crazy?" He chuckled softly, "Try me." And that was how Caroline found herself explaining everything. The heartbreak, the invitation, the humiliation she refused to relive alone. Noah listened without judgment, his expression calm, his voice low. When he finally said, "I'll go with you," she blinked. "Really?" "Sure," he said, with a faint smile. Everyone deserves to walk into their past with someone who believes they deserve better. The following week was a blur of dresses, nerves, and unexpected laughter. Caroline hadn't smiled like that in months. Noah and Ava came by one afternoon, and Ava, curious and bright, asked, "Are you going to dance with my dad?" Caroline laughed, flushing. "Maybe, if he wants to." Noah's eyes softened at that, but he didn't say anything. The morning of the wedding dawned bright and impossibly clear. Sunlight poured through her window, as if daring her to hope again. Caroline wore a soft lavender dress that brushed her knees, her hair in gentle curls. When Noah arrived, dressed in a crisp white shirt and gray vest, for a fleeting second, she forgot why she was going at all. He looked steady, the kind of man who didn't need to prove anything. They drove in silence for most of the way, the hum of the car blending with their unspoken thoughts. When they arrived at the venue, a sunlit garden surrounded by oak trees, Caroline froze for a moment, her pulse hammering. Noah quietly reached for her hand. "You don't have to prove anything," he said. "Just breathe." His words were simple, but they anchored her. Together, they stepped into the crowd. The air was warm, filled with the sound of laughter and the rustle of dresses. Familiar faces turned toward her, surprise flickering in their eyes. She could hear the whispers, the murmurs. But she stood taller. Noah's presence beside her was like a shield. Ethan spotted her across the lawn. For a moment, his confident smile faltered. He walked over, awkwardly tugging at his tie. "Caroline," he said, "you look wow. It's been a while." She smiled faintly. "It has?" His gaze flickered to Noah. "And you are?" And Noah offered his hand, calm and unflinching. "No, Reed. Her date." It was subtle, but Caroline saw it. The brief flicker of regret in Ethan's eyes. The way his jaw tightened, the way his new bride looked between them, uncertain. For the first time in years, Caroline didn't feel small. She felt free. Too, as the ceremony began, she watched the man who once promised her forever marry someone else, and felt nothing but peace. Maybe because she finally realized she hadn't lost the right person. She had lost the wrong one. When the reception started, the music swelled and couples filled the dance floor. Noah turned to her, smiling softly. "Dance with me." Her chest tightened. Here. Now. Why not? So under the warm daylight filtering through the trees, they danced, slow and unhurried. The world faded around them. Caroline's head rested against Noah's chest, and for the first time in so long, she felt safe. Not in a fairy tale way, but in a quiet, steady, real way. Later that afternoon, when she went to grab some air, she overheard a few guests near the garden path, whispering about Ethan, about how his new marriage was more about appearances than love. Caroline smiled to herself. Some lessons don't need to be spoken. Life teaches them gently when you're ready. When she turned around, she saw Noah watching her from a distance. In that moment, something shifted. It wasn't romantic fireworks or movie magic. It was something deeper. Two people who had walked through loss, betrayal, and still found reasons to show up. Weeks passed. Life returned to its quiet rhythm, morning coffee, work emails, neighborhood hellos. But something between them had changed. They began sharing small pieces of their days. A text here, a laugh there, helping Ava with her homework together. One evening, Caroline found herself at Noah's house, the scent of pancakes filling the air as Ava giggled over syrup, sticky hands. When Ava ran to grab her coloring book, Caroline said softly, "You're a good dad, no." He smiled, his eyes warm but tired. "I'm just trying my best. You're doing more than that." For a moment, the silence between them felt tender, like a thread gently tying two hearts that had been alone for too long. Noah looked at her carefully, then asked, "Can I tell you something?" "Of course. When you asked me to go to that wedding, I didn't say yes because I felt sorry for you." He paused, his voice low and sincere. "I said yes because you reminded me what strength looks like, and because I think you deserved someone to stand beside you, not behind you." Caroline blinked rapidly, her chest tightening. "Noah." But he just smiled softly. "You don't have to say anything," and she didn't, not that night, but she knew. 2 months later, as spring rolled in, the three of them, Caroline, Noah, and little Ava, went for a picnic by the lake. The day was bright, filled with laughter and sunlight glinting off the water. Ava ran ahead chasing butterflies, while Noah and Caroline sat side by side on a checkered blanket. "I never thought I'd find peace again," Caroline admitted. "Not after everything." Noah looked at her, his gaze steady. "Maybe peace isn't found. Maybe it's built, with the right people." She smiled, tears stinging her eyes. "Then I think I'm finally building it." And when Ava came running back, holding 2 wildflowers, one for each of them, Caroline realized something quietly profound. Sometimes life doesn't give you the love story you planned. It gives you the one you need. 2. If this story touched your heart, please don't leave without showing love. Like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Every click helps us share more stories of hope, kindness, and second chances with the world. 2. Special request. Comment below. I believe in second chances. Let's fill this space with hope for those who need a reminder that healing is always possible. Woo, and as the sun set that day, painting the lake in shades of pink and gold, Caroline leaned her head on Noah's shoulder. The past no longer hurt. It had simply led her here. To this moment, to him, to peace. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories begin when you stop trying to fix the old ones and simply open your heart to something new.